and Snape talking about his son's task and that Snape will have to carry it out. And of course, they make the unbreakable vow. So at that one crucial moment, when Draco proves that he is not a killer, sort of, he can't kill Dumbledore. Dumbledore doesn't have a wand. He just can't do it, and he pansies out. And finally, Snape steps in, and Dumbledore turns to Snape and says, "Severus, please." Now, the first question we have to ask ourselves is why would Dumbledore, a man who thinks death is nothing but the next great adventure, be begging his trusted friend for his life? He really wouldn't be doing that.
He's too powerful to beg as well. No, I was saying, he's too powerful to beg Dumbledore, and as you say, death is just the next great adventure, so I can never see him doing that. But, what we think is that he's saying, please, Severus, please do the task that you were appointed to do. And also, if you remember earlier in the book, Hagrid overhears Snape and Dumbledore arguing, and he said Snape was saying to Dumbledore that he didn't want him to keep taking him for granted, and that the task was, bigger than he was.
You're saying that he didn't want to do it.
And so then in the scene where he's killed, Dumbledore saying, please do it, do the task that you're supposed to do, and the look of utmost revulsion on Snape's face wasn't for Dumbledore, but was for the task he was just about to perform.
Dumbledore definitely knew that he was about to die.
Yeah, he did.
He had to have that plan. There's no way a 6-year wizard is going to keep Dumbledore from doing what he wants to do, when he wants to do it,
how he wants to do it.
How he wants to do it. I mean, at any moment, Dumbledore could have just laid the smack down and said, "Draco, I'm Dumbledore. You're not." At the very least, Fawkes could have come and saved his life. There's no way Dumbledore didn't know he was about to die. Dumbledore's death served a purpose. This is the difference between J.K. Rowling killing Harry and killing Dumbledore. Dumbledore's death was crucial for Harry's development.
It was, and also if you look to the scene in Order of the Phoenix when Dumbledore and the Ministry Witches and Wizards are in his office, he can take down, 2 outstanding auras. He can take down
the Minister of Magic.
He can take down anyone he wants, basically. He's that cool.
Right, and something else that's interesting to point out is in Half-Blood Prince we learned that when Voldemort tried to apply to the school to teach defense against the dark arts, and he put a curse on the position. Now, why would Dumbledore assign Snape, finally let him have the position of the Defense Against the Dark Arts teacher, unless he knew that Snape was going to be leaving at the end of the year, and perhaps that he was going to be checking out himself?
It's true, and you have to see Dumbledore's plan as a grand master plan. He thinks of everything. I just think that everything he does and everything that happens, he knows about. Do you know what I mean? Like, if he wanted to, he could have stopped Draco and a few Death Eaters, Like, Fenrir Greyback is scary to most people, but to Dumbledore, he's just another person who fears death. Dumbledore sees the big picture.
We hear in Sorcerer's Stone where, he says he doesn't need a cloak to become invisible. Now, why couldn't he just become invisible right there and then do a barrel roll and just roll out of the way? Barrel roll! You know what I mean? He wouldn't even need an invisibility cloak. So I think he obviously could have gotten out of there if he wanted to.
I think something's going to have to be explained very early on in the book about Snape, because this whole time Harry's going to want to be after Snape, or somebody in the Order is going to have to explain to him, look, Snape is good for this specific reason.
I can see Lupin.
But what we're also forgetting is that the 6th book is Snape's book. It was named after Snape, so he's ridiculously important.
Yeah.
And that has to follow on. Sorry?
I disagree with my fellow Sphinx just said, though, because Snape and not knowing creates so much great tension of the book that it won't happen.
Well, that's true. There will be a lot of tension, but you also have to think that if Harry's going to want to be after Snape this whole time, especially if he makes himself known.
No, he knows he's got to go after the Horcrux.
He does know that, but at the same time, there's this guy who just killed Dumbledore.
He's going to be seeking vengeance, but I don't think that's going to be like he's not going to be driven by that. He's going to be driven by the fact that this is it. He has no one to lean on, and it's finally the time for him to step up and be a man.
But I still think someone's going to have to explain that something has to be explained about Snape to comfort Harry that Dumbledore asked him to do this.
But does it though? I mean, I think it's going to be the one shocker moment when we finally find out Snape's true loyalty. I think it's going to come, perhaps towards the end of the story, you know, in some type of battle where Snape steps in the way or finally stands up to Voldemort and says, no, this isn't how it's going to be.
No, because Ben, Harry assumes Snape is on Voldemort's side now. He doesn't know that it was part of Dumbledore's grand plan. So
right, I'm saying that's why Snape would step in at the end and reveal his true loyalty.
But if their paths cross, if Snape and Harry's paths cross, Harry's going to try and kill him.
Right, of course, I think Snape is going to win because, you know, for example, if you look at the occlumency scenes in Order of the Phoenix, it's just so obvious that it's like, you know, the master and the student, the teacher and the student. It's so obvious, and I don't think that, unless there was some odd, you know, Harry lucks out again, does some super backflip over top of Snape, kicks him in the back of the head, then AKs him, I don't think it's going to happen. I mean, I think that Snape obviously would be the more experienced wizard in that case, and that he would get his way out of it. And like I said, I think it's going to be one moment in the book where Snape finally shows his true loyalty by either standing up to Voldemort and trying to do something, but I really think that it's going to be him.
And also, if you go back to the occlumency scenes, you know, when you first read it, you think, Snape's just shouting at Harry. He doesn't really care, he just wants to get out of there. But if you read it more closely, he's teaching him. He's really, he wants him to do well. He shouts at him because he can't get it. And he realizes how important it is that Harry learns occlumency. And it really is. If you look at the developments in the next book, you know, the whole Voldemort possessing Harry thing, it's so important that he learns this thing. So Snape is actually worried.
Right. And Snape had so many chances to just not act on anything. For example, we see in Order of the Phoenix, when in the movie also, when Snape is when Harry is in Umbridge's office, and Umbridge says, "Snape, give me your Veritaserum. I have used my last stores on so-and-so." And then he's getting ready to walk away, and Harry says, "They have Padfoot at the place where it's hidden." I don't remember the line from the book, that's the line from the movie. And at that one moment, Snape could just say, you know, he could actually mean he has no idea what Harry's talking about and choose not to act on that because that's such a vague thing to say to somebody. How do we know that he knows exactly what he's talking about? And the fact that Snape acted upon that when he could have just done nothing, I mean, and there would have been no question about it, it to me proves his loyalty to Dumbledore and the Order.
And when Dumbledore, after he tries to as he removes the Horcrux from the ring, and he's near death, and Snape saves his life, Snape is you know, obviously the best potions master at Hogwarts, so he could have just pretended to do his best effort and then let him die anyway. Nobody would have been the wiser because nobody knows the potions like Snape does.
Yeah.
Snape's had so many opportunities to kill Harry, to bring Voldemort, to do whatever, and he never has. He saves Harry's life, or he might abuse him, you know, mentally and verbally, but he doesn't. He's definitely not. He can't be working for Voldemort. He's had way too many opportunities.
Yeah, and also you have to, you know, his life hasn't been perfect, and people haven't trusted him after the whole, you know, Voldemort prophecy thing, and him being a Death Eater. So Dumbledore is the only person who's trusted him, and his life hasn't been perfect. So having that person in your life who is the only one who trusts you unconditionally, trusts you about everything, you know, it'll take a tough man and an evil man to not, you know,
to betray and for example, I think we never really find out why Dumbledore trusts Snape, and I think that's something that's going to be revealed to us in this final book. Is we're going to find out the real reason why. Perhaps it has something to do with what happened in Godric's Hollow, something or another, and I just think that we will finally find out why.